What's up, guys? It's Andy here. Welcome back to Painfully Honest Advice. So in this video, I'm gonna go ahead and open up the blinds here and share with you guys my full dividend-based portfolio. Now, I call this portfolio my bucket list portfolio. In this video, I'm gonna go ahead and share with you guys all the stocks that I have in this portfolio, as well as my investment strategy and some of the top stocks that are earning me the most dividends. Now, if you are new to this channel, I basically focus on sharing with you guys everything in regards to the stock market. I do invest in the stock market pretty heavily, and at this point, my portfolio has hit over $50,000. So let me just go ahead and backtrack a little bit here. Now, when I started investing in this portfolio, I started investing with M1 Finance. Now, I've been investing in the stock market, guys, for about 10 to 15 years now, and I recently changed my strategy this year after the pandemic hit and the stock market went down tremendously. Now, I started investing maybe about a month later, and at that point I thought I was too late to start investing because I thought I missed the bottom. Now, I can tell you guys, I started this portfolio with just $1,000, and at this point this portfolio is over $52,000. So one thing and one piece of quick advice here is going to be, if you're looking to go ahead and start investing in the stock market, focus on investing for the long term, and the quicker you go ahead and start, the quicker the portfolio will go ahead and compound over time. Now, my strategy with this portfolio is to focus on dividend growth stocks. And basically, with all the stocks in this portfolio, I have over 52 stocks, or actually I have 52 stocks exactly right now. I did have 55 or 56 stocks at one point, but I did go ahead and sell some of them. So I'll go ahead and share with you guys all the 52 stocks, but these stocks are going to be all stocks that pay out a dividend, as well as they have a huge growth potential. Now, my focus with this portfolio is to go ahead and get it over $1 million eventually here. And with the compound effect, I'm hoping that I can get there in 10 years, but maybe even less depending on how the market does. But my goal is not to go ahead and withdraw anything out of this portfolio. And within a 20-year time frame, I do want this portfolio to go ahead and build me enough income so it can go ahead and cover all my day-to-day expenses. But guys, now jumping right into this portfolio, I'm going to go ahead and share with you guys basically how I have it separated, and then we'll go ahead and dig into each one of my slices. So now, as I just go ahead and pull up my portfolio here, I call this my bucket list portfolio. Basically, in this portfolio, I do have $52,120 as my current value in the portfolio. Now, guys, I'm going to be fully transparent, so I'm going to go ahead and share with you guys how much I've gained in the last week, month, and since I started this portfolio, and then I'm going to go ahead and share with you guys how I have this portfolio separated in the different sectors. So now, my current portfolio is sitting at $51,120. I did have a really positive gain just in the last day here. The market has been slowly climbing up, and I really can't tell why, because we're still in the middle of this pandemic. I mean, I know Russia just announced that they do have a vaccine that was approved, but still, I mean, that to me is still speculative. Now, I am up $671 in the last day here, or up 1.31%. If we look at the last week in this portfolio, I'm up $1,207, or 2.39%. In the last month, the portfolio is up $3,788, or roughly around 8%. Last quarter, portfolio is up $5,754, or 16.39%. And then all time, the portfolio is up over 20%, which is extremely good. I'm actually really shocked that the portfolio is up over 20% because I really thought I missed the bottom of the market. But that tells you that you just got to get started by investing. So the portfolio overall is up $5,731. Now, guys, I call this my bucket list portfolio. Additionally, I do have a Roth IRA as well. This portfolio is basically just my investment portfolio. If you guys are interested in me reviewing my Roth IRA as well, let me know in the comments below. I can go ahead and share that with you guys as well. But now let's go ahead and jump into how I have this portfolio divided up. But now, as far as the way M1 Finance goes ahead and lets you invest, is that you do invest in slices. Basically, with M1 Finance, you can go ahead and do fractional shares. Now, I have this portfolio broken up into the 11 different slices within the S&P 500, or I should say the 11 different sectors within the S&P 500. So now the 11 different sectors that I do have in this portfolio is I have the technology sector weighed in at 22%, real estate at 15%, financials at 12%, utilities at 9%, consumer staples at 10%, healthcare at 9%, communication services at 10%, industrials at 5%, consumer discretionary at 5%, material at 2%, and then energy at 1%. But now let's go ahead and jump into each one of these slices. Now within the technology sector, I do have 5 stocks. Overall in the technology sector, I am up the most, which I'm up 49.34% within this sector, or $2,163. Now in technology, the 5 companies that I do have is I have Apple, Microsoft, Nvidia, Accenture, and Visa. Now guys, these are all basically names that I'm sure we've all heard of, but these are basically companies that are the industry leaders within their sector. Now the top 2 companies in the world and the top 2 companies by market cap are Apple and Microsoft. Apple's actually near a $2 trillion market cap. They're getting there pretty quickly here. Now I do go ahead and invest in Apple more heavily, so 60% of my technology slice is separated into Apple, and then I have the rest of them split up into 10%. So these are going to be all stocks that do pay out a dividend within my portfolio. So like I said, I only focus on stocks that pay out a dividend because I'm building income in 2 separate ways, by the dividends and by the growth of the company's share price. And next, let's go ahead and jump into the next sector here. Now the next sector is going to be real estate. Now real estate, I am up overall 17.35% or $753. Now I do invest about 15% of my portfolio within real estate. And in real estate, I have 4 companies here. Now my favorite company within real estate is going to be Realty Income Corporation. Basically, they're a retail landlord. So they have a lot of plazas and they're one of the largest landlords within the US. And I personally really like this company because their leases are with some of the most credible companies out there. Basically, they have leases with Walmart, with 7-Elevens, with Walgreens, with Sam's Club. They have many different long-term tenants that are tied into 50+ year leases with this company. Plus, they do pay out their dividends on a monthly basis. So I really like that part about Realty Income. Additionally, I have PLD, which is Prologis Inc., as well as Crown Castle International and Digital Realty Trust. Now, Prologis Inc. is one of the largest companies out there when it comes down to an industrial company that focuses on logistics. So they do have a lot of warehouses and they have contracts with like Amazon and Walmart. Crown Castle International is basically one of the largest cell tower companies within the US. Digital Realty Trust is actually the largest data center company within the US as well. So these are going to be some of the top players within the real estate sector. Now next, let's go ahead and jump into the next slice here. And the next slice and the next sector is going to be in financials. Now financials, I do weigh about 20% of my portfolio. Within financials, I'm up 16.78% or $682. Now in financials, I do have a bunch of companies here within financials because within the financial sector, there's many different types of companies. So I really do like to diversify within the financial sector. Some of the companies I have in here is Main Street Capital, which is basically like a small investment bank. They are a monthly paying dividend stock as well, which I'm all about the monthly dividends. So I really do like this company. Aflac is the next one, which is basically within the insurance industry. American Express is one of the largest companies. I'm sure we've heard of American Express. They're one of the largest card companies out there. JP Morgan Chase and Bank of America are basically the largest 2 companies within the US within the banking sector. And basically without the banking sector, we would probably be in a recession and the whole market would basically crash. Now, additionally, I do invest in Moody's Corporation, which is a credit rating agency, as well as T. Rowe Price and TD Ameritrade. Now, TD is one of the companies that I do invest in the Canadian banking exchange. So guys, these are going to be all the companies that I do have within the financial sector. Now, next, let's go ahead and jump into the next sector here. And the next sector is going to be utilities. Now, within utilities, I am up about 10.28% or $308. Now, in total, in utilities, I do have 5 companies that I go ahead and invest with. I have NextEra Energy, which is basically one of the largest companies out there that focuses on renewable and clean energy. PPL Corporation, the Southern Company, and Dominion Energy are basically all focused around gas and electric electric utilities. I really do like PPL Corporation because they are actually one of the companies that pays out some of the highest dividends within the utility sector. Now, additionally, after that, I do have AWK, or American Water Works. This is one of the companies that I recently added within my utilities portfolio because I do want to go ahead and diversify my utilities, and they're basically one of the largest water utility companies within the US. So these are going to be all 5 stocks, guys, that I have within the utility sector. Now, this is considered a bit safer sector for me, so I really do like investing in this sector. Now, next, let's go ahead and jump into the next sector here. The next sector is going to be consumer staples. Now, within consumer staples, I do have a bunch of different companies here. Now, these again are companies that I do believe are more recession proof and pandemic proof. So over the long-term time horizon, I do see these companies growing as well. And again, all these companies do pay out a dividend. Now, some of the companies that I do have in this sector are going to be PepsiCo, Costco, Coca-Cola, Cisco Corp, Altria Group, Hormel Foods, Procter & Gamble, and Clorox. Now, some of my favorite companies within the sector, guys, are going to be Cisco and Costco. So these are going to be all the stocks within the consumer staples sector. And within the sector, I am up 14.58% or $405.80. But next, let's go ahead and jump into the next sector, which is going to be healthcare. Now, healthcare, I'm up about 9% or $264 within this sector. Healthcare, I do have 4 companies that I go ahead and invest in. I have Johnson & Johnson, United Health Group, Medtronic, and Abbey. Now, I do weigh a little bit more in Johnson & Johnson because over the long-term time horizon, some of the drugs that they do own, I do see those going nowhere because those are going to be household names. And additionally, with United Health Group, they're basically one of the largest providers of health insurance within the United States. So these are going to be 2 of the companies that I do weigh a little more heavily on as opposed to the other 2. So these are going to be all 4 stocks within the healthcare sector. But now, guys, jumping into the next stocks here in the next sector is going to be communication services. Now, within communication services, I'm up 9.62% or $282. Now, I do only have 3 companies within this sector, and I have AT&T, Verizon Communications, or Comcast. Now, with AT&T, this is more of my strategy around the dividend side of it. Now, I do see AT&T growing over time, but because they did have an acquisition of Time Warner Cable and DirecTV, AT&T is now considered the largest wireless communication provider within the US. But with DirecTV, they did take a significant hit on their stock price. So the stock hasn't really moved recently, but over time, I do see the stock growing because they're the largest player within the wireless communication sector, and they do pay out a really nice dividend. If we just look here, the current dividend yield is 6.86%. So now, as far as Verizon goes, they're basically the second largest player within the wireless communication sector. And then Comcast, I do believe, has some of the biggest potential to go ahead and grow within this sector. But next, let's go ahead and jump into the next sector. The next sector is going to be industrials. Now, within the industrial space, I am up 22.74% or $332. Now, I have 4 companies that I do go ahead and invest in within the industrial sector. And personally, I love all 4 of these companies, but the 2 that I do go ahead and weigh a little heavier on is going to be Waste Management and Union Pacific Corporation. Now, additionally, I do have Honeywell and General Dynamics. Now, with Waste Management, they're basically one of the largest companies when it comes down to garbage disposal and recycling services. So I really do like their potential to go ahead and take over more of the market share, as well as with Union Pacific, they're the largest railroad company within the US. So I do see them growing pretty aggressively as well over the next 15 to 20 years. So guys, these are going to be all the companies within industrial. Now, let's go ahead and jump into the next sector here, which is going to be consumer discretionary. Now, within consumer discretionary, I am up 23.92% or $399. Now, within the sector, I have 5 companies. Now, these are all going to be companies that I'm sure we're probably all very familiar with because these are some of the biggest retailers out there. Now, within the sector, I have Home Depot, McDonald's, Lowe's, Nike, and Starbucks. Now, with Home Depot and with Lowe's, their business model, I just don't see going anywhere. But they're basically the top two players as far as home improvement products goes. Nike, I just love Nike because of their products. And then Starbucks is basically the biggest player when it comes down to coffee products. So guys, these are going to be the 5 companies that I have in consumer discretionary. And now just jumping into the last 2 sectors here, materials, I do have a couple companies. I have 3 companies within materials, but in materials, I'm up 20.43% or $130. Now within materials, I do have Ecolab, I have Air Products and Chemicals, and I have Lynn Corporation. Now materials is only about 2% of my overall portfolio. Now with materials, I'm actually surprised that they're actually up over 20%. Now the final sector here, guys, is gonna be the energy sector. Now within the energy sector, I am up 4% or $28. Now the energy sector, I only have 1% of my portfolio in, and within this sector, I do have 3 companies. Basically, I have the largest 2 players, which include ExxonMobil and Chevron. Now Chevron, I am down in currently, and ExxonMobil, I'm up about 7%. And then additionally, I have Pembina Pipeline Corporation, which is actually one of the largest gas suppliers within Canada, and they're actually a monthly paying dividend stock as well. But guys, these are basically going to be all the stocks that I do have in my current portfolio. Now I have 52 stocks in total, and I like to be fully transparent here, and this is basically where my portfolio is currently at. But guys, that's basically going to wrap it up for this video. Now if you are interested in trading with M1 Finance, I will have an affiliate link down in the description below. Additionally, if you want to take advantage of a couple free stocks, I do have a link for Weibo, which basically gives you 2 free stocks. And then if you want to get a 3rd free stock, go ahead and check out my description for Robinhood, which offers you 1 free stock for setting up an account with them. But thank you guys for watching this video. And if you're not following me already on Instagram, make sure to follow me at Painfully Honest Advice. And don't forget to subscribe to the channel below. But I'll see you guys at the next one.